I'm about to tell you something that will shock you. At 63 years old, married for 40 years to a successful businessman, living in a mansion that most people only dream of, I did something that society says women like me should never do. And you know what? I'd do it all over again in a heartbeat. My name is Scarlett, and this is my confession. For 4 decades, I played the role perfectly: the elegant wife, the gracious hostess, the invisible woman standing beside a powerful man. I raised our son, managed our home, attended countless business dinners where I smiled and nodded while my opinions dissolved into expensive wine and polite conversation. Somewhere between the charity galas and the empty beds, I forgot I was still alive. I forgot I could still feel. But on my 63rd birthday, I asked my husband Caleb for one gift, just one: a 2-week cruise, a second honeymoon, like the passionate 14 days we spent at sea when we first married. I wanted to remember what it felt like when he actually saw me, when his hands knew my body, when we were more than business partners sharing a last name. He said yes, and that cruise changed everything, but not in the way I expected. Let me take you back to understand how I got here, because this story doesn't start on that cruise. It starts years earlier, in a doctor's office, when I thought my body was betraying me. I was 52 when menopause hit, and with it came something nobody warned me about, something that made me feel like I was losing my mind. The hot flashes, the mood swings, sure, everyone talks about those, but what they don't tell you is that for some women, desire doesn't fade, it explodes. At night, lying next to Caleb's sleeping form, I would feel this fire burning through me, intense, demanding, impossible to ignore. I thought something was wrong with me. How could I, a woman in my 50s, suddenly want intimacy more than I had in my 30s? It felt shameful, desperate, like some cruel joke my body was playing. So I went to my gynecologist, Dr. Morrison, convinced she'd give me medication to make it stop. Instead, she smiled at me with such kindness and said words I'll never forget. "There's nothing wrong with you, Scarlett. This happens to many women during and after menopause. Your hormones are shifting. Some women lose desire. Others, like you, experience a surge. It's completely normal. You're not broken." But knowing I wasn't broken didn't fix my marriage. Caleb and I had been growing apart for years. After 50, our intimate life became something that happened maybe once a month, if that. And when it did happen, it felt mechanical, obligatory, like he was checking a box on some invisible list. 3 minutes of missionary position, no foreplay, no passion, no eye contact. Then he'd roll over and fall asleep while I lay there staring at the ceiling, feeling more alone than if I'd been by myself. I tried everything: new lingerie that he never noticed, romantic dinners where he spent the entire time on his phone. I even suggested we see a counselor once, and he laughed, said we didn't have problems, we just had a mature marriage, as if mature meant dead. Our son, Marcus, had his own life now, married, working at his father's company, building his own success story. He didn't need me anymore. And Caleb, well, Caleb had his business empire, his golf games, his bourbon collection. He had everything he wanted. Everything except a wife he actually saw. So when my 63rd birthday approached, I made a decision. One last try, one final attempt to find the man I married underneath all those years of indifference. I asked for that cruise, 2 weeks, just us, like it used to be. I actually believed it could work. God, I was so naive. The ship was magnificent. 10 stories of luxury, glass elevators, chandeliers that sparkled like captured stars, restaurants serving cuisine I couldn't even pronounce, thousands of people, all of them smiling, laughing, taking selfies with the ocean behind them. Everyone looked so happy, so in love. I wanted to be one of them so badly it hurt. For weeks before we boarded, I prepared. I went to the salon, got my hair done in soft waves that framed my face. I bought new clothes, elegant dresses that showed I still had a figure worth noticing. I went to the spa for a full Brazilian wax, something I hadn't done in years. It was uncomfortable, expensive, but I wanted to feel beautiful, desirable, ready. I packed the lingerie I'd bought, black lace, red silk, delicate pieces that cost more than most people's weekly salary. I imagined Caleb's face when he saw them. I imagined his hands remembering how to touch me. I imagined us making love with the ocean rocking beneath us, recapturing something we'd lost. The first night, I wore the black lace set under my dinner dress. My heart was pounding when we got back to our suite. I excused myself to the bathroom, refreshed my lipstick, checked my reflection one more time. When I walked out, Caleb was already in his pajamas, scrolling through his tablet. "Going to the casino for a bit," he said without looking up. "Don't wait up." He didn't even see the lingerie, didn't notice the perfume, didn't notice me. By the fourth night, I'd given up trying. Caleb had found his people, wealthy men who spent their evenings gambling and drinking whiskey, talking about stocks and real estate deals. He'd come back to our cabin at 2, 3 in the morning, reeking of cigar smoke and bourbon, and collapse into bed without a word. I was alone. Again, on a ship full of couples, surrounded by laughter and romance, I was completely alone. That fourth night, I sat on our private balcony in my silk nightgown, the one Caleb would never see, drinking red wine and watching the moonlight dance on the water. The bottle was almost empty. I was angry, heartbroken, foolish for thinking anything could change. I poured the last glass too quickly, and it happened. The wine splashed over the rim, spilling across the white table, drops falling onto my nightgown. The glass slipped from my hand and shattered on the deck. I just sat there, staring at the broken crystal, thinking how perfectly it represented my marriage. Beautiful once, now just sharp pieces that could cut you if you tried to pick them up. I pressed the service button, and when that door opened, when I saw who stood there in that crisp uniform, something inside me shattered too, but in a completely different way. He was beautiful. There's no other word for it. Juan stood in my doorway, and I forgot how to breathe. He had olive skin that glowed under the hallway lights, dark hair perfectly styled, and eyes. God, those eyes! Deep brown and intense, the kind that seemed to see straight through all your carefully constructed walls. His uniform was immaculate. White jacket fitted perfectly across broad shoulders and a chest that spoke of hours in the gym. He couldn't have been more than 35. I found out later he was 32. "Good evening, ma'am. You called for service." His voice was smooth, with just a hint of a Latin accent that made every word sound like poetry. I stood there in my silk nightgown, wine-stained and probably looking like a mess, suddenly very aware that I was a 63-year-old woman staring at a man young enough to be my son. But the wine had loosened something in me. Or maybe it was the weeks of rejection, the years of being invisible. I broke a glass, made a mess. I gestured to the balcony, trying to sound normal, but my voice came out breathy, nervous. He moved past me, and I caught his scent. Clean, masculine, intoxicating. I watched him work, the way his muscles flexed as he bent to pick up the broken crystal, the way his hands moved with such careful precision. And then I saw it. The bulge in his perfectly pressed uniform pants, substantial, impossible not to notice. The wine made me brave, or stupid, maybe both. "You're very efficient," I heard myself say. "Very strong." He looked up, and our eyes met. Something passed between us, recognition, understanding, desire. "Thank you, ma'am. I try to provide the best service." The way he said service made my pulse race. "Please," I said, taking a step closer, "don't call me ma'am. It makes me feel old. My name is Scarlett." "Scarlett," he repeated, and the way my name sounded in his mouth made me weak. "That's a beautiful name for a very beautiful woman." I laughed, a sound somewhere between disbelief and hope. "You don't have to flatter me. I'm old enough to be your mother." "You're not old," he said, his voice dropping lower. "You're stunning. The way you carry yourself, the fire in your eyes. Age is just a number, Scarlett. Beauty, desire, passion, those don't have expiration dates." My heart was hammering. This couldn't be happening. This gorgeous young man couldn't be looking at me like that, like he wanted me, like I was something precious and rare. "Juan," he said, extending his hand. "My name is Juan." I took his hand and electricity shot through me. His skin was warm, his grip firm. He held my hand a moment longer than necessary, his thumb brushing across my knuckles. "We have to be fast," he whispered, glancing at the door. "I only have my break, 40 minutes." I should have said no, should have thanked him and sent him away, should have remembered I was a married woman, that this was insane, that I was more than 3 decades older than him. Instead, I pulled him closer. Those 40 minutes rewrote everything I thought I knew about my own body. Juan kissed me like I was oxygen and he'd been drowning. His hands, those strong, careful hands, found every curve, every sensitive place I'd forgotten existed. He whispered in Spanish against my skin, words I didn't understand but felt in my bones. He was urgent but not rushed, passionate but attentive. And when he finally entered me, I gasped so loud I had to bite down on his shoulder to keep from screaming. This wasn't sex. This was worship. This was being seen, truly seen, for the first time in decades. He made me feel things I didn't know a body could feel at 63. Waves of pleasure that built and crashed and built again, higher each time. My nails dug into his back, my legs wrapped around his waist. I heard myself making sounds I didn't recognize, saying things I'd never said, becoming someone I'd buried so deep I thought she was gone forever. When I shattered, it was like every cell in my body exploded with light. I came, actually came, something that hadn't happened with Caleb in over 15 years. And then, impossibly, it happened again and again. Juan knew exactly how to touch me, where to kiss me, how to move inside me to make my entire body sing. When it was over, we lay tangled together, both of us breathing hard, my silk nightgown somewhere on the floor, his uniform rumpled beyond repair. He traced patterns on my skin, looking at me with such genuine admiration that I almost cried. "You're incredible," he whispered. "I knew you would be, from the moment you opened that door." The next 10 days were the most alive I'd felt in 40 years. Juan knew that ship like he knew my body, intimately and completely. He found us secret places, storage rooms during shift changes, the upper deck at dawn when everyone else was sleeping, a private hot tub on the crew level that no passengers knew existed. Every encounter was different, sometimes frantic and desperate, sometimes slow and tender. Once, against the wall in a linen closet while people walked past feet away, his hand covering my mouth to muffle my moans. Another time, on a lounge chair under the stars, so gentle and sweet I did cry. He taught me my body wasn't done, wasn't broken, wasn't too old. He showed me that passion doesn't have an age limit, that desire doesn't expire, that pleasure isn't just for the young. Caleb never noticed, never once asked where I was or why I was smiling. He was too busy winning at poker, making business connections, living his own parallel life just feet away from mine. But I noticed everything. The way Juan looked at me, the way he listened when I talked, the way he made me laugh, the way he made me feel like a woman instead of a decoration. The last night on that ship was the most intense of my entire life. Juan took me to a place only crew members knew about, a small observation deck at the very top of the ship. The stars above us were endless, the ocean below dark and infinite, and we were completely alone. He made love to me for hours, whispering that he'd never forget me, that I'd changed something in him too, that I was the most extraordinary woman he'd ever known. I believed him, not because I was naive, but because in that moment, it was true. We'd given each other something precious. He'd given me back myself, and I'd shown him that connection isn't about age, it's about souls recognizing each other. When the sun started to rise, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, we held each other one last time. I memorized everything, the feel of his heartbeat against my cheek, the smell of his skin, the warmth of his arms. I knew I'd probably never see him again, and that knowledge made it somehow more beautiful, more real. The next morning, we docked. Juan was there with the other crew members, professionally saying goodbye to passengers, shaking hands, accepting tips with gracious smiles. When our eyes met across the crowded deck, everything we couldn't say passed between us in that single glance. Thank you. I'll remember. You mattered. Caleb was euphoric. He'd made 3 major business contacts, won several $1,000s at poker, and declared it the best vacation he'd had in years. He held my hand as we walked down the gangway, chattering about scheduling another cruise next year, maybe bringing Marcus and his wife. I smiled and nodded, and inside, I was someone completely different than the woman who'd boarded that ship 2 weeks ago. I wasn't happy. I was complete. 1 week after we returned home, I asked Caleb for a divorce. He stared at me like I'd spoken a foreign language. Why? He kept asking. What's wrong? We just had a wonderful vacation. Everything's fine. But everything wasn't fine. It hadn't been fine for years, maybe decades, and I was done pretending. I told him the truth, not about Juan, but about us, that I couldn't spend whatever years I had left begging for crumbs of attention from a man who saw me as furniture, that I deserved to be loved, truly loved, or at least to be alone with dignity rather than lonely in a crowded house. After the shock wore off, I saw something in his face, relief. Maybe he'd been just as trapped as I was, just too comfortable or too afraid to admit it. I don't regret what happened on that cruise. I'm not proud of the betrayal, but I'm not ashamed of choosing myself for once. If I could go back, I'd do it all again. Every stolen moment, every forbidden touch, every second of feeling alive. I'm 63 years old. I'm divorced, I'm alone, and I'm open to whatever comes next. Maybe I'll meet someone my own age, maybe someone younger. Maybe I'll stay single and learn to enjoy my own company. What I know for certain is this: I will never again settle for a life without passion, without connection, without salt. Size does matter. Not the ship, not even what you think I'm talking about. I'm talking about the size of your life, the depth of your experiences, the magnitude of your courage to choose yourself. I finally understand that it's never too late to wake up, never too late to feel, never too late to live. And that's the most important thing I discovered at 63. And now I want to speak with you, who's on the other side of the screen and heard this story until the end. What did you think of Scarlett's journey? her courage to choose herself after 40 years of invisibility. This is a real story. The names and locations have been changed to protect privacy, but the emotions, the awakening, the transformation, all of it happened exactly as you heard it. Here's what I want you to reflect on. How many of us are living like Scarlett was, going through the motions, accepting crumbs when we deserve the whole meal? Society tells us that after 60, we should fade quietly into the background, that passion is for the young, that desire has an expiration date. But is that true? Or is it just another lie we've been told to keep us small? If you're over 60 and still believe in love, in passion, in second chances, this channel is for you. Real Hearts After 60 is where we share real stories about real people who refused to let age define their capacity to feel, to live, to love. Subscribe. Share your story in the comments. Let's rewrite the narrative together.